Alright then, welcome along, my name's DJ Bosh. This is Bosh's Beginner Basics, and today I'm going to go through my live dub setup. So I use 3 different MIDI controllers and Ableton Live just so I can mix the individual stems and elements of each track, and I can also add delays and reverbs and things on the fly. So let's have a little look through the Ableton setup first, and then we'll go on to the controllers. So in Ableton you can see I've got all the track names here, and each one of these track channels corresponds to a row of these samples, these stems here. And then each of these columns down here corresponds to a different instrument. So we've got the kick drum, snare drum, hi-hats, shakers and percussion, bass, skank, which is like any of the offbeat sort of guitars and pianos that you hear in reggae. And then we've got melodies, which is pretty self-explanatory, and vocals. Now these 3 channels here and the shakers and percussion are kind of interchangeable. So shakers, I've got percussions, I've got anything that's drum stuff that's, you know, doesn't really fit anywhere else into any of these channels. And then these, because I'm playing some dubstep tracks as well as dub reggae, these are kind of interchangeable as well. So, like, let's have a look. I've got the lead bass sample here. I've got ambience and things in the vocals. So there's a bit of a mix here. And then each of these knobs, we've got the send and return knobs, and each of these knobs here corresponds to one of the return channels over here. So A is a normal reverb, and that's just like a mixing reverb that sits in the background. I don't adjust that. That's just so my samples aren't completely clean. Some people like to use them completely clean, but I like to have just a little bit of mixing reverb in there just to gel everything together. B corresponds to this channel here, which is just a standard 1/8 note dotted echo. And I can change the amount of feedback on that, but nothing else. The C knob corresponds to this delay, this echo, which I can change the speed and the pitch of. This one here is just a pretty nice, spacious reverb. And then here we've got a reverb that's also got an auto filter that's controlled by an LFO. So when we go through the controller, I'll let you have a listen to that. Here we've got a drum rack that contains some samples and a couple of sirens. I've got a spring reverb channel, which is a metal, like a physical metal box that's got a spring inside, so you can play around with that, clang it and hit it with things, and it just makes some really nice sounds. And then I've got a microphone channel as well, which just has a slightly filtered, delayed mic, so I can talk and sort of introduce tracks and things like that. So that's a really quick sort of introduction. I'll just quickly show you. So if I twist a knob on my MIDIMix here, you can see that this knob here changes. And that's pretty much how all of these work. All of the knobs that I'm about to show you on the controller are all linked to different effects and channels in Ableton. If you look here on the kick, I'll just move this fader. You can see that volume fader moves up and down. So let's switch over to the video now, and let's have a look at the controller itself. So first I've got the Akai MIDIMix, and this is where most of it happens. This top line of knobs here is all linked to the first delay. The second line is all linked to the second delay, which is the pitch controlled one, which I then control the speed and the pitch of with this knob here on the Korg nanoKontrol Studio. This is the standard reverb on the bottom here. And then over here I've got the filtered reverb. What else? We've got the APC Key 25. So you can see here, this is all lit up green. This means that this is the track that's going to be playing. And each one of these corresponds to a set of stems. And each one of the, so that's a track going across. And then each column is kick drum, snare drum, and hi-hat, so they correspond to the loops and things that are set up in the project. So I'll stop all those, make sure they're not playing. What else? Yep, I've said that that's the filtered reverb. Over here, I've got the control that sends the delay to the sirens, and then I've got the speed of the sirens and the pitch, which I'll show you in a second. I've got a high pass and a low pass filter respectively. Oh, sorry, low pass, high pass. And I've also got a tempo control, so because I've got a few tracks that are a little bit faster than the standard 140 that I tend to play at. I've also got a control here that controls the kicks. So if I've got a track that's got a 4/4 kick drum, I can quite easily turn that into a standard sort of 1/3 kick drum instead of one hitting on every beat. But I'll demo it all now. So I'll just do drums, bass, and the piano. Let's make sure none of the effects are on, so everything's dry. And let's pick a track here. So let's do Let's do Non-Immigrant Song by Egoless. So that's got a nice spread between vocals and everything. It's got the proper sort of elements of each one. So let me just select that with this. I need to go there. And then I'm going to press this button here to start the whole track playing. Oh, there we go. So you can hear all the elements here. I'm just going to leave those all in. I'll start adding some effects. So the snare with the delay. That vocal, let's try the delay on the vocal. Yeah. Let's try the vocal with, let's take out some of the other musical elements. So we've just got vocal, drums and bass. And let's listen to this pitch delay now. I think it's got a really nice sound to it. Let's put the pianos back in. And let's try the reverb on the piano here. And then let's also try that filtered reverb on the piano as well. So you can hear that changing as the LFO controls the filter there. What else? Let's do the sirens. So we've got the square wave siren. And that's the pitch is controlled, and so the pitch is controlled here, and the delay amount's controlled here. So have a listen, and then we do the pitch, and then I've got a standard dub reggae siren as well that's also controlled with the same knob. So I've got two Ableton controls linked into this knob. Have a listen. We've also got an auto filter. Let's put some of this back in. So we've got a low pass filter and then a high pass. Now, there is a button here that I've just found that I want to... I can't remember which knob I've pressed it to, so I'm just going to press a few of these knobs over here and try and figure out which one it is. That's the one. So on this here, I've got this linked to like a record break effect. Sounds like you're slowing down a vinyl, and then as soon as I let go, it'll start playing again. Just a nice little effect there. Tempo control. And then what I'm going to do is put a different kick drum in. So I'm going to put a 4/4 kick drum in just by pressing this from a different track. So here, I can just drop in different parts. I can play a different section from every track on here. You can see the lights change, so I've got a really good visual representation of what's going on. And then I've just done this to show you this knob over here. And I can make this 4/4 kick drum into a standard 1/3 pattern. Cool. So a couple of the effects here are all on the master. So that spin down effect's on isotope vinyl. Both the filters, you can see the auto filters here. Yeah, they're both on the master channel. And then I've just got a slight compressor and a limiter as well, just to keep everything in control. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, I think I've covered everything there. So that's my dub setup. Samples. Set of standard sort of reggae samples, and then those sirens as well. So that's it. I hope that's detailed enough for everyone. This is a live set I'm going to be putting together, hopefully to perform out when everything's back to normal. And yeah, that's it. My name's DJ Bosh. This has been Bosh's Beginner Basics. And no, Bosh's Beginner Bits. Got to get that title right. And yeah, hopefully that's been enough. I'll see you next time. Give my YouTube channel a subscribe and follow me and all that business. Thank you very much. See you later.